Hello everyone, Specter here and welcome to Star Citizen. Today is the 2954 IAE Day 3, which is the Mirai as well as the MISC showroom in here. As usual, I will talk about the ships over here and I will try to minimize those older ships and focus on the newer ships so that to make this video a little bit shorter and also keep you guys well informed about the newer ships instead of the older ones. So before further ado, let's get to it. In the middle of the showroom, you can see there's a Starlancer Max, which is one of the newest ship that CIG implemented to the game in Star Citizen. It's a medium freighter. I believe it's called medium freighter. It can hold 224 SU worth of cargo spaces in here, and also with some very unique way to load up the ship in here. The cargo bay will be extended to here, and it means that people will have an easier time to access to the cargo bay from the ground instead of all the way to the back. Of course, some of those cargo capacity will be located at the end of the ship, but still, it will increase the speed of loading up the ship. So when I see this Starlancer, I believe that it looks like a big story from CIG about the Freelancer series, because the docking collar, the docking section of the Freelancer series right now is, I would consider it's not functional, because you can still put things inside of it, but if you want to get it out, that would be a big problem because the door is not going to be easy to be accessed. The door would not be wide enough for the cargo containers to get in or out, so that's why. So this is the end section of the cargo bay of the Starlancer. You can put, I believe that 96 STU worth of cargo in here, and also you can fit some ground vehicles at the same time in here, like the mining rock or the Ursa rover or something like that. You got some cargo, elevator in here as well. I don't know why they make it a lot of them in here, but anyway, it increases the chance for you to get in or out, going up or down to different section of the ship. So I just remember when the time that, the elevator of the Drake Corsair was bugged, then the people trapped inside. So with 3 or 4 of these kind of elevators, you can decrease your chances to be trapped in a problematic elevator, probably. So this section is quite easy for people to access the ship. You can just lower those cargo bay and then you can just call it up so that you can access the ship instead of going all the way back to the ramp, or you can call the elevator, of course, over there at the front. But it also means that you will lose some cargo capacity or the capabilities of loading up more ground vehicles, because this walkway is like blocking this rail. But anyway, I think it's kind of feature for CIG, try not to let people to get a very overpowered ship. So yeah. So you got the elevator in here, which you can access to the top of the ship or exit the ship. Meanwhile, you got the ladder to do the same thing. And in here, I believe that is the airlock. But nothing happened for some reasons. So, over here is a kind of area for you to put your guns and also a space suit in the future, or armor. Not so sure about these seats, but doesn't seem like your character needs to sit down and wear their gear, so the seat is just for extra passengers, I believe. So the location of this kind of armory is quite good because, well, before you head out, you better suit it up first. So it's a big plus. Now let's move upward. So on your left hand side here is the habitation area, which you got a very large kitchen area in here. Make sure you stock it up before you start your journey. I can guarantee that you can make a big feast out of it. And in the middle section in here probably is the, is a crew quarter. I don't know why CIG will let people to have double beds in here. Doesn't seem like you can do anything else. Oh, it's myself. So creepy. Anyway, it doesn't seem like the character in Star Citizen can, having some interaction with each other. As well as, I don't think CIG will let us to have NPC children on board. So yeah, I don't know why they got double beds in here. And the most interesting thing is, even though they make a double bed in here, right? But only with one seat in here. So it means that you only for one person, suppose, for each quarter. But for some reasons you make people think that you can fit like 8 people in here instead of 4. So you have 4 of these kind of crew quarters in here, the hubs in here, for all 4 of your crew. And this one is the engineering station. I kind of like the design of this engineering station because you cram everything in here. So the engineer doesn't need to, running back and forth inside of a ship for fixing the components. Before you head to the bridge, you can see there's some escape pods in here, which is a reasonable design, just like the Starfarers, as well as the whole C series. I mean, whole series, except for the whole A probably. And here you got 4 seats. 2 of these are remote turrets, gunner seat. But these remote turrets only cover the upper part of the ship, so just like a Freelancer series, but 1 more extra turrets. And those turrets, I believe that you can house size 4 guns instead of, size 2 or size 3s. And the bridge design looks like the whole C or Starfarer, except they don't have the captain seat in the middle. And for some reasons I can't access to the pilot seat. But I can assure that the whole feeling of flying this Starlancer will be similar to the Freelancer series. The view will not be that great, especially your lack of the window upstairs as well here. Unlike the Freelancers, the Freelancers got window upstairs, so you can peek outside from the rooftop here, but now you can't. But anyway, this ship is supposed to be a freighter, or you can consider it's an armed freighter instead of some proper combat ships. So you're not supposed to use this ship for engaging hostiles. So basically, the ship right now with wallboard would be 225 US dollars. And if you're purchasing it without wallboard, the standalone price would be 250. Generally speaking, I would consider this ship is quite compatible against the Taurus, but a few things would be less likely to win the Taurus because the Taurus with full size 5 guns that's controlled by the pilot, while the pilots of the Starlancer Max will only got full size 4 guns on these turrets. And also the whole HP probably will be lower. And the visibility of the Starlancer will be poorer than the Taurus itself as well. The size is gigantic compared to the Taurus. So yeah, if I need to use the vessel for fighting, then I will choose the Taurus. But if you talk about cargo running, pure cargo running, then the Starlancer would be a little bit better. Although it doesn't come up with tractor beam on board, but still, I think I will enjoy flying the ship for cargo hauling. Okay, let's move on to the other ships. Right at the side of the Starlancer, you can see the Pulse LX in here. So this is a racing ship. Basically, this thing is a bike. It's a hover bike, and it is a very tiny one as well. And since the size of this ship is very, very small, so you can fit into many ships, including those like, for example, the Avenger Titans, or maybe you can talk about like the Reliant series, you can still fit it in. But if you talk about fighters, then obviously you can't. But well, yeah, compared to the other hover bike, this thing is very, very tiny. And obviously, when you purchase in the game, it's quite cheap as well. I'm not so sure whether it's purchasable in the game. I believe that you can. The last time I checked, you can. But I forgot about the price, so I'm not so sure about it. But anyway, every time I fly the ship, this thing will stay flattened instead of standing up like this. I don't know why people can do it, but except for me. So I always got a flattened pulse, which is not very good omen for myself. So yeah, if you really want to have the ship, you can purchase it in game, but with real cash price would be about $30, I believe, and $25 would be in wallboard price. So yeah. And this is another pulse in here. Well, just simply with a different kind of weaponries at the front, but basic status would be probably the same. And I think that it's still very cheap in the game, so you don't need to, well, use real cash to purchase it. You can try in game first, unless you really like the ship. If not, I won't suggest anyone to buy anything in the game with real cash. Okay, so let's go to the other ships. Well, I try not to go to this hall because, well, the Freelancer series would be the ships that I kept on talk about them over and over in previous IAE, so that's why I try to avoid this. But anyway, just a brief introduction. That's the MISC, which is a military version of the Freelancer. This is the Max, which is the cargo version of the Freelancer with an extra large cargo hold. That is the door over there, which is an ugly duckling. So basically it's an expedition type of Freelancer with a refinery inside of it, as well as the basic version of the Freelancer series. Now, why I need to talk about the ship, not because it's new or something, although something is changed. For example, at the back of the ship here, unlike in 314, they changes this kind of layout already, so you can access to the ship's components via the cargo bay, which is a very nice feature. So you don't need to keep on running around back and forth the ship. The engineer will have an easier time to access their stuff. But what I'm trying to tell you guys, to show you guys why I think that the Starlancer series would be a kind of CIG saying sorry to the owner who owned the Freelancer series, because you can see there's a cargo hold in here. You can fit about, I believe that you can fit around 4 to 8 SU worth of cargo in here, or maybe 12, I don't know. But the problem is, when you are manually loading the ship, this door cannot hold open like this. So it means that when you are tractor beaming them, you may have a harder time to, getting the cargo boxes in or out of the ship, which is a very big problem. That's why people try to avoid using this cargo grid in here. Although you have a very nice feature of having a docking collar over there, but, well, the only docking ship, the boarding ship, which is the Legionnaire, is not even here. So this thing is not very useful. And just a reminder, you can't access to that one, right? You can't exit the ship via this hole, so yeah, it's not very useful at all. But one thing for sure, they fixed this part of the door, the ladder, so that you don't need to worry about being killed by it. But yeah, that's it for the improvement of the Freelancers. So that's why the Starlancer series, it looks like a CIG saying sorry about the Freelancer to the Freelancer, because, well, that cargo hold in here, they put a thruster in here, so they can't really put any kind of doors or gates in here to open it up for people to load or unload the ship. So basically, yup, the Freelancer series got something that is not ideal, starting from the 324. Alright, so in this hull you can see there's a very big hull C in here, and this hull C is the ship with largest cargo capacity in the game right now, available being purchased in the game as well. So how to do it? Well, basically this ship is not storing cargo internally, but externally. As it's need to carry cargo, the whole thing will be extended. It means that getting longer, and those plating will be hold outside, and those plating will be the cargo grid for the ship. And you can see some tractor beams underneath the ship and above the ship, so that you will have the operator will be easily control those tractor beams to load or offload the ship. Now currently you can purchase this ship in the game with 16 million in-game credits, which is a lot. But as a ship with Warborn price 450 and standalone price with 500, I would suggest people to, well, try it out in the game first. Especially 1 or 2 patches ago, the cargo loading for the whole sea would be was bugged, so that's why people doesn't like it. I mean, they don't like it at all. Now you can see there's an airlock in here with some lockers for spacesuit. In here, you got some escape pods in here. and the bridge would be over there. Now there's a downside about the design, in my opinion, because well, when people were in danger, they tried to exit the ship. Obviously, they would stick to the closest side of the cargo pods, right? It means that they will stick to the left hand side, but the ladder that lead up to the like a crew quarter will be located in here at the first turn in here. So it means that when you're escaping, you may get caught by this ladder and doing some sort of like going upstairs action, which will delay your opportunity to get to the escape pods, which is not very ideal. But this is just some sort of minor mistake for myself, but yeah, not for everyone obviously. And this ship's supposed to be very durable, so before the ship goes down, obviously you got enough time to go to those escape pods. Now in the bridge you can see there's a captain's seat. You can ask the captain to play around with the radar, while usually people will use this seat, which is a pilot seat. Again, as a MISC freighter, you got a very poor view by looking out of this very thin glass, but it doesn't matter at all because you are not going to use it for fighting after all. Now, at the back of this ship, you can see, a very long tube in here, and this is the walkway to the engineering station, which is very dark. And I'm not going to over there. Now anyway, outside of here, when this thing extended, you can that would be some cargo plating over there to hold the cargo, so, while they can still allow the crew to access to the engineering at the back of the ship without going outside of the ship, which is a very ideal setting or design. Now upstairs is a crew quarter as well as the operator for the tractor beams. So this is the operator seat, and at the back in here you can see those crew quarter. You got a very large kitchen area, just like a Starlancer series, but you will share less privacy. I mean, comparing to the Starlancer, because you're not supposed to live in this ship, but instead you are going to work in this ship. So that's why the people on board will be workers instead of travelers or maybe explorers, right? So comfort will be something less likely to be worried about. Ouch. Alright, so let's move on to the other ships. And inside of the other hallway, you can see there's a Freelancer Series. So these ships are relatively new, that's why I'm talking about them. So you got a basic Fury and Fury MX, as well as a Fury LX in here. So the Fury would be the gun version with guns. You can see guns in here. The MX would be the missile version of it, which without guns in here. And the LX, which is a racing version of it, which without any weaponries, which is reasonable. But why I need to talk about the ship, because, well, just for those new players who think that this is a very cool ship and try to buy this or upgrade your ship to this ship, please don't do that, because, well, this Fury series, they don't equip with quantum drives, so it means that they can't jump anywhere. They are not going anywhere. So if you don't have any ships to carry them around, then please think twice before you purchase these ships. Now, in order to get inside of the ship is via here, the pilot seat here. The whole thing is very tiny, so nothing for you to walk around right away. And this Fury will armed with 4 size 2 weapons in here, and also with some size 2 missiles. And over there, the MX will be armed with multiple size 3 and size 2 missiles. But without guns, it means that you can only ditch those missiles from long range, and you need to fly back and resupply your ship. And the only feature the differences between the MX and also with the Fury is the blast shield. Which I believe that is supposed to be here. Okay, there you go. So the blast shield will be like this. So from the outside will be like this. But it's just one layer of protection. Doesn't matter that much, I think. Because in Star Citizen, glasses for some reasons you can take a beating with those glasses only, so you don't need to worry about being sniped to death or like being hit by a railgun. Probably will still stay alive. Now, this LX is a racing version without armament, which is very reasonable. You need to be as light as possible. Yeah, so just a reminder again, do not think that these ships are cool so you start purchasing them. These ships can't go anywhere by itself, so you must have a bigger ship to carry them around. But the one good side is they are very nimble, agile. You can really use it for dogfighting, and even the gladiators will have a hard time against these tiny ships. And finally, in this hologram room, you can see there is a Starlancer Tac in here, which is tactical meaning. So it's a gunship variant of the Starlancer. So this ship, what's those difference? Comparing to the Max, is that, well, this ship can only carry 96 SU with a cargo, but in return, down there at the bottom you can see some turrets in here. Those man turrets can house 2 size 5, I believe that weaponries, I will say, not ballistic Gatling guns or whatever. So basically, you can consider this is a ship that replaced the Redeemer at some point. But of course, you can talk about, the size of this ship would be much larger than the Redeemer, right? And I think that is exactly why CIG downgraded the Redeemer, because they need to have a Tac with sizable weaponries on board. Now, the Tac comparing to the Max would be much more looks like its bigger brother, the Odyssey, because this ship not only with some drop seats in there, well, obviously the Odyssey doesn't have it, but you have a med bay inside of it as well. So it just simply looks like the Odyssey, and also you have since you can't see it, but basically you got a small hangar for the Fury. So the whole design just like a mini size of the Odyssey, and even looks like an Odyssey comparing to the Max, the Starlancer Max. So in my opinion, it looks like CIG doesn't have enough, time to finish the Odyssey, which is, well, reasonable because they can't figure out how to, or maybe they can't implement the refinery system yet in the game. So that's why the Odyssey, the other ships with refinery like the Expanse and also the Galaxy refinery modules probably can't make it work. So that's why they make something new, looks like, similar type of it, but a less capability to the original ship, which is the Odyssey. But it's just my guessing, my own opinion. But yeah, in my opinion, I would not suggest people to purchase the ship. But of course, you can purchase the ship wherever you want, because this ship is quite expensive right now. Warborn price would be 295 US dollars, and if you talk about standalone price, would be 330, which is as same as the Caterpillar. But due to CIG did to the Redeemer, what they did to the Redeemer by downgrading those size 5s, it's hard to say that they won't do the same thing to the Tac in the future. So that's why I don't suggest people to purchase this ship, although it looks cool. But it definitely is a multi-crew ship, which, well, you may not make it working unless you got more people on board. Okay, so basically that's it for today's video about the day 3 of this IAE. I hope you enjoy it, and I shall see you guys next time then. Bye bye.